Papa's Pub, how it started. Uh, Context is always good, so I'm going to give you some background and then we'll get into the work that was actually done to build this place. And before you go getting too excited, it's not a bar that you can actually visit, it's in my home. And I guess the best place to start is this past summer. I had been drinking beer, a lot, or I guess not a lot, somewhat. So I decided to try liquor instead, because I had made a couple of drinks that I used to call Tennessee apple juice. I used Jim Beam apple and carbonated Fuji apple water from Walmart, and they were pretty tasty. So I thought, well, let's do some experimenting. So I was out in the camper and I was experimenting. I called my daughter Sarah out, and I'll show you the TikTok videos that she recorded and uploaded so that you can get a little bit of context on that. And then it kind of branched out from there, where we started having little get-togethers out in our gazebo, out in the backyard, with some friends. And the last time that we did that, we got rained out. I mean, we had a group of people there, had my outside makeshift bar set up, and I was mixing drinks, and had my grandson helping me out. He was my bar back. I call him Bar Back Barney. So we got rained out. We come in the house and started making drinks in the kitchen, which it was okay, but it was really, really inconvenient and not set up for mixing drinks. And then I got to thinking, I should build a bar in the house. And I was originally going to put it upstairs in what used to be the dining room, which has been turned into the drum room. And I got to thinking, you know what, I'm 67 years old now. Time to stop playing and tell my son to come and get the drums, because he's been chafing at the bit wanting them. As a matter of fact, he couldn't wait to get them, so he bought his own. And he built his own man cave, and he's got his drums set up and he plays out there, but that's a different story. So I was thinking, you know what, I still enjoy playing, so until I'm too senile to remember the songs, or I can't hang on to the sticks anymore, I'm just going to keep playing. So the idea of putting it in the dining room upstairs, that was kind of out the window. And then I thought, well, let's look at the basement. So I was down in the basement and I was looking around, and I noticed that I had this big, huge workbench that had pretty much became a collect-all. I mean, just junk sitting on it, and I wasn't into building stuff anymore, so I really didn't need a big workbench. And I got to looking in my editing studio, and I had a nice table in there that we had originally planned on using for a laundry table. And I looked at that and I thought, son of a bitch, that's a collect-all too. So I got to thinking, well, I want a wet bar. I don't want to have a bar where I'm going to have a bucket there to keep cleaning the stuff. And I had two locations in the basement that had water. One where there was a sink when I first moved into the house, which that sink is long gone, but the plumbing was still there and the drain was there. Or the other choice was to put it over by where the washer and the dryer are. So that was an option too, because I had water and drain over there too. So then I happened to notice these shelves, beverage shelves actually, from when I worked at Pepsi, that they were going to throw out, and they gave me. And I had been using for store and Christmas decorations, Halloween decorations, you name it. And the space wasn't really utilized very well, because there was a big gap between the 1 4-foot section of shelving and the hot water heater. And I had intentionally left that like that so that when the hot water heater shit the bed, we could replace it without having to fight around stuff. Well, we replaced the water heater last summer, so I might be dead before the next one goes. But anyways, I moved the shorter section, 3-foot section of shelf over between the water heater and the 4-foot section, which created more room. And I got to thinking, I'm going to put it by where the shower and the toilet are. So fine, I started working. I figured the biggest headache was going to be moving that workbench, because I built that son of a bitch strong. I mean, if there was a tornado, that's where we were going to go, was underneath the workbench, because it was heavy duty. You could have probably rebuilt an engine on that. It was that heavy. So I moved that and was starting to do prep work and demo work for where the shower was. I was going to keep the shower though, even though we don't use it that much. It was handy to have. And my daughter was bathing her German Shepherd in the shower, and I noticed water running out across the floor. Well, the floor drain in the shower was leaking, and the only way to fix it was going to be to rip the shower out, which was one piece, and I had built it in. So I was going to have to destroy the shower to fix the shower drain, so the shower's gone, which, looking back now, that was a good move, because it gave me the adequate space behind the bar that I needed. So that's how it all started. And I'm going to put some clips on here of what my daughter filmed on her cell phone that led to my decision to build the bar. Hope you enjoy it. And before I go, I just want to tell you that I'm going to be posting videos from the bar, events that we're going to have at the bar for friends and family. And I want to give you fair warning, you may see some political content, and none of it is meant to offend anyone, but I'm going to tell you ahead of time, any political content or comments that you may see are conservative opinions. Here again, I have friends who are liberals and Democrats, and they are friends, and I would never do anything to hurt them or upset them or hurt their feelings. That being said, if you can watch, if you're a left-wing Democrat or liberal, whatever you want to call yourself, if you can watch videos with comments from a right-wing conservative like me and my friends that will be here, then please enjoy and have a good time. But keep in mind, none of it is meant to offend you. And the best thing that I can tell you, the best advice that I can tell you, is life is short. So lighten up, relax, take it with a grain of salt if you have to, laugh. I don't know when we stop being able to laugh at ourselves, but we can't do that anymore. I mean, when I was growing up, one of the funniest shows on TV was the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast. And I look back and I watched some of them from back in the 70s, and there's no way they could do something like that today, because people are too thin-skinned and they can't laugh at themselves. So take it from an old guy like me. Lighten up, laugh, enjoy life, because before you know it, a lifetime is gone. So now to the videos that my daughter shot. Yeah, I think that we have the mixtures just right. And I hope so, because I don't think we can take much more of this tasting. So I believe in the last video that Sarah recorded, we needed more drinks. Houston, we do not have a problem. We have liftoff! So, Sarah Whitney and I have been out here in the camper, and we've been experimenting with mixed drinks. And I am trying to create the perfect apple pie mixed drink and a caramel apple. We've tasted what? Well, we have tasted and consumed 6 or 7 of them. We're empty now, so it's time to make more! Alright, so we've been sampling drinks here and creations quite a while. You might be a little bit lit up. Just a little. What we're having more. What are we having this time?
We did apple pie last time. Let's do a caramel apple this time.
Caramel apple, all right. Black velvet, toasted caramel. What else? Fireball.
Fireball. Can't forget that.
All right, so we're gonna do the fireball here. The problem is we're pretty much screwed because we're out of ice. We forgot the recipe. 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There, we have that. Will we use the carbonated apple water or juice?
Carbonated.
That's water. Well, one of us is screwed because there ain't much left in here. I'll tell you what. Seeing how we're experimenting, we're going to split that 50-50. We'll top it off with a little bit of apple juice. It's really nice to be retired. It's also really nice to be old and not give a shit about what anybody thinks. So there we are. Caramel apple.